Hello everyone. Today let us continue with our quantum mechanics class where we are going to deal with the radial probability density corresponding to hydrogen-like atom. So what actually is this radial probability density is the question. In general, in probability theory, we say a probability density or a probability density function of a continuous random variable is a function whose value at any given point in the sample space can be interpreted and the same result can be generalized throughout the space or throughout the sample. So, we are just considering a small section of the sample, we are finding out the information from that section and finally we will generalize the same result for the whole sample, and that is the work of probability density function. So, what actually is a radial probability density is the question, or why that radial term is coming in this heading is the question. So, we have already dealt about the probability density while discussing about basic postulates of quantum mechanics. So, one thing we need to remember is that the probability density function is always positive everywhere, and if we take the integral over the entire space, then we get the total probability which will be equal to unity, because we know for any system you take, the total probability will sum up to give you 1. So, let us understand the same concept in case of hydrogen-like atom. So, in our previous classes, we have derived about the wave function corresponding to hydrogen-like atom, where we divided the wave function or the eigenfunction of hydrogen-like atom into two parts. One was the radial part and another one was angular part. And in angular part we are having two sections, one is the theta solution and another one is a phi solution. We found that phi solution is equals to exponential of plus or minus Im phi divided by root 2 pi, whereas the theta solution gave us the spherical harmonics, and when you combine these two we get the solution for angular part of the wave function corresponding to hydrogen-like atom. And if you take the ground state solution of hydrogen-like atom, which is going to be spherically symmetric, which we have already discussed. So, there L, that is the orbital angular momentum quantum number, as well as m, which is the magnetic quantum number, will be equal to 0, whereas the principal quantum number n will be equal to 1. So, if you substitute the value of L and m equal to 0, we find that y 0 0, that is the angular part of the wave function corresponding to ground state of hydrogen-like atom, will be equal to 1 by square root of 4 pi. And also the another part of the eigenfunction corresponding to hydrogen-like atom is r 1 0 of r is equals to 2 times of z by a naught raised to 3 by 2 into exponential of minus zr by a naught. So, here we can observe that the radial part of the wave function corresponding to ground state is directly proportional to exponential of negative of r. So, that is the main thing we need to remember, and if you just substitute z is equals to 1, then we get the radial part of wave function corresponding to hydrogen atom. So, this is in general for hydrogen-like atom. So, when you combine the radial part as well as the angular part, we can get the ground state wave function for the hydrogen-like atom, which is denoted as xi 100, that is xi NLM is equals to 2 by square root of 4 pi into z by a naught raised to 3 by 2 into exponential of minus zr by a naught. And here the state is specified by the wave function xi NLM, that is xi 100. The probability of finding the electron in the volume element, let us say d tau, will be equal to p of r into dr, or d tau is equals to xi NLM into xi star of NLM into d tau. So, xi into xi star, that is nothing but the wave function into the complex conjugate, will give us the probability which we have already seen. So, square of mod of xi NLM into d tau will give us the probability of finding an electron in a volume element d tau. So, what we are going to do here is that if you consider the hydrogen-like atom, that is we are having the nucleus at the center and the electron, a single electron is revolving with respect to nucleus as the focus. So if you just consider a section of it, that is we are going to consider two dimension here. So one is having the position vector, or you can say the radius equal to r, and another spherical shell at a distance dr from the first one. So it will be having the radius r plus dr. So here what we are going to do is that we are going to find out the probability of finding an electron in a thin spherical shell which is bounded by radii r and r plus dr, and that will be equal to square of mod of RNL into square of mod of YLM, which is nothing but square of xi NLM, because we know that xi is having two parts, one is radial part and another one is angular part, and in polar coordinates the volume element is given as r square sin theta dr d theta into d phi. Same thing we have just denoted here. One thing what we need to remember is that the probability of finding the electron within the nucleus is 0. So as you go on away from the nucleus, we get some probability of finding the electron. So what we are going to do? We are considering a thin spherical shell which is having certain extent of dr, and we will find out what is the probability of finding electron within this, and we will generalize the same for the whole hydrogen like atom. So that is what we are going to do with respect to probability density. But still the question is why it is called as radial probability density. So here if you just solve it, that is, in order to find out the probability, we need to integrate throughout the atom, or we can say space. So here the radial part is taken outside because of the limit of it, and the integration will run from 0 to phi and 0 to 2 phi with respect to the angular parts. So if you just observe here, y Lm square, when it is normalized we get unity, because these are nothing but the spherical harmonics, and the spherical harmonics are normalized to unity. So here if you just observe for ground state, y 0 0 square will be equal to 1 by root 4 pi whole square. So we get 1 by 4 pi, and if you solve for the remaining part we get the 4 pi value based on the limits of integration, and 1 by 4 pi into 4 pi will come up to unity. So we can say that PNL of R into dr will be equal to square of mod of RNL into R square into dr. So if you just simplify it further, we can observe that PNL of R is equals to R square into square of mod of RNL. So here we can observe that the probability density for the hydrogen like atom is depending on the radial part of the wave function, and somehow we can say that's why it is termed as radial probability density. So the radial probability density PNL of R is defined as the probability of finding the electron of a hydrogen like atom at a distance r from the nucleus, because within the nucleus you are not having any electron, because itself it is a positive core, it will have protons not electrons. So this is in general. So let us find out what is PNL of R for ground state of hydrogen like atom. So generally it is said that the probability of finding an electron is maximum at Bohr radius. Bohr radius is with respect to Bohr theory for hydrogen atom. So whether this statement is true or no is the question, and that is what we are going to solve now. So based on our previous slide, we have PNL of R is equals to R square into square of mod of RNL. So N, that is the principal quantum number, will be equal to 1 and L will be equal to 0 for ground state. So more details about the quantum numbers will be discussed in the next class, which is more important with respect to physical significance of these wave function calculation. Now let us stick on to our topic. So here in our previous class we have already derived the value of R10, which will be equal to 2 times of z by a naught raised to 3 by 2 into exponential of minus zr by a naught. So when you take the square of it and simplify for z equal to 1, that is the case for hydrogen atom. We get P10 of r is equals to 4r square by a naught cube into exponential of minus 2r by a naught. This is what is the value of P10 of r, and we can observe that this probability of finding the electron is depending on r and other things are constant. So, here we can plot a graph or interpret radial probability density graphically. So, along y-axis we are having a naught into P and L, and along x-axis we have r by a naught, or even you can plot P and L along y-axis and r along x-axis. So, when you plot the graph for P10 of r, we get some nature like this, where we can observe there is a peak, and this peak represents the maximum probability of finding an electron in that atom. But what we need to solve is that this probability is maximum when we have r is equals to a naught. So, let us verify it. So, here for P10 of r we are having a single peak, and the exponential nature can be observed clearly. And again we can plot for higher values also, that is when P, which is a probability for n equal to 2 and L equal to 0. In that case we are having 2 peaks, but the maximum probability is with respect to this peak which is occurring at higher r value. So, this is what we need to remember. The maximum probability is going to shift to higher r values, which is representing the position vector as you go on increasing the n value, that is a principal quantum number, that is for higher orbitals. And for n is equals to 2, we have L is equals to 0 as well as 1. So, if you plot the probability density curve for P21, we get a single peak, and that is occurring for smaller r value when compared to P20. So, these are the radial probability densities for hydrogen like atom, which are going to express the probability distribution function for different states corresponding to the hydrogen like atom. Similarly, you can plot some for higher values of principal quantum number, and if you plot for n is equals to 3 and L is equals to 0, we can observe that we are having 3 peaks, and as the r values is going on increasing, the probability of finding the electron is also going on increasing, and the maximum probability of finding electron will be highest for higher r values, because along x axis r value is going on increasing because a naught is constant. And for n is equals to 3, we are having 3 peaks, and if you plot for n is equals to 3 and L is equals to 1, we are having just 2 peaks, and when n is equals to 3 and L is equals to 2, we have just 1 peak. So, that is depending on the difference between the principal quantum number and orbital quantum number. So, for the first case 3 minus 0 will be equal to 3, so 3 peaks, then 3 minus 1 equal to 2, that is why 2 peaks. 3 minus 2 equal to 1, we are having just 1 peak. And similarly, we are having the troughs also, that is the minima, and here the probability of finding electron is equal to 0, and we name it as radial nodes. So, what actually are radial nodes? We will discuss again in the next class, but one thing you need to remember is that these radial nodes are going to define the shape of the atomic orbitals. In first case, we do not have any radial node, that is why we say the wave function or the orbital is spherically symmetric. But here we are having one node, and for higher n values we are having 2, 3 and so on. But how to get the number of nodes is just by a simple formula. The number of radial nodes will be equal to n minus L minus 1. So, here we have n is equals to 3 minus L, that is minus 0 minus 1. So, it will be equal to 2. That is why we are having 2 radial nodes. If you consider P31, here n minus L minus 1, that is 3 minus 1 minus 1 will be equal to 1. That is why we are having just single trough. and 3 minus 2 minus 1 will be equal to 0. That is why in the graph of P32 we do not have any radial node. So, this is how we are going to utilize the information what we are getting from the wave function corresponding to hydrogen like atom. So, now coming back to our main topic, that is we need to find out the probability of finding electron is maximum at Bohr radius. So, already we have seen that what is the value of P10 of R, and we are just taking the derivative of it. We get dP by dr is equals to the derivative of P10 of R. So, here we are having two R values. We need to use the differentiation of U into V formula. U into differentiation of V plus V into differentiation of U. So, in the same way we have done here, constants are taken outside, U into differentiation of V plus V into differentiation of R square is 2R. So, when you simplify, we can observe that dP by dr will be equal to 8R divided by A naught raised to 4 into A naught minus R into exponential of minus 2R by A naught. So, this is the value of dP by dr. But why we need to find out is that we know that the maxima condition in general is with respect to derivative of the variable. That is, for the probability PNL of R to be maximum, the derivative dP by dr should be equal to 0. That is, the derivative should vanish. And here we have already found out the value of dP by dr, and when you equate it to 0, we can observe that the first term is going to vanish, second term will be equal to 0, third term will be equal to 0. So, main thing we need to see here is that A naught minus R is equal to 0, because all the terms cannot be equal to 0 at a time. So, any one term if it is equal to 0, then finally the whole term is going to vanish. So, A naught minus R will be equal to 0, and if you just simplify, we can observe that R is equals to A naught, which is nothing but the Bohr radius. So, what is the conclusion here? The probability of finding the electron in case of hydrogen like atom will be maximum at Bohr radius. So, if you just look at the first graph P10 which we have interpreted, if you just extrapolate the peak to the x value, or if you just draw the perpendicular from the peak to the x axis, we can observe that this peak is occurring almost when R by A naught is equals to 1, and when that will happen? Only when R is equals to A naught. That is why A naught by A naught will be equal to 1. So, here we can say that for the ground state of hydrogen atom or hydrogen like atom, the probability of finding electron is maximum when R is equals to A naught, that is R is equals to Bohr radius. So, this is what we have derived or solved mathematically and understood by interpreting it graphically also. So, the maximum occurs at a distance equal to the Bohr radius from the origin, that is from the nucleus. So, let us interpret some of the general results. So, the maximum probability of finding electron in ground state will be equal to P10 of R is equals to 4 A naught square by A naught cube into exponential of 2 times negative A naught by A naught. So, here what we have done, in the formula of P10 of R, in place of R we have just equated it to Bohr radius. So, R will be equal to A naught, and when you solve it, some terms are going to get cancelled, and exponential is nothing but 2.71, and if you just take e raised to minus 2, that is 1 by e raised to 2 will be equal to 0.135 almost, and if you solve it further, we can say that P10 of R is coming up to equal to 0.541 divided by A naught. So, if you substitute the value of A naught, again you can just find out what is the probability of finding electron with respect to ground state of hydrogen like atom. So, this is what is the use of understanding the nature of wave function as well as the radial probability density corresponding to hydrogen like atom. So, this is for today's class, and in our next class we are going to deal with the nature of hydrogenic orbitals, and we are going to understand some of the important terms not just with respect to physics but with respect to chemistry also, that why we are going to name different orbitals SPDF, or what are the meaning of those things based on the quantum numbers n, l and m. So, what different values are going to be taken for L and M with respect to the principal quantum number? What is the use of it? So, actually the main physical significance of the last 4 classes, that is the wave function or the eigenfunction corresponding to hydrogen like atom, will be discussed in the next class, where we will be discussing about shape of the hydrogenic orbitals. So, this is for today's class. Study well. Thank you.